My friends and family, I hope you guys are doing great. Much love to everybody out there. All glory to Yahuwah, Yahweh, as you guys call him. All glory to the King, who's going to be the King of us, Yahushua, HaMashiach. A lot of people call him Jesus the Christ. There were no J's in Hebrew, my friends, and so the name could never have been Jesus. In fact, the letter J is one of the last letters of the actual alphabet that we have, and so letter J would not have been our Messiah's name. So it's better to get the name right because there's only one name under heaven by which you may be saved. So we should probably get that one right. His name is Yahushua. It's like Joshua with a Y. Today is day 23, month 7. It is the day before a Shabbat. That means it's a preparation day. What does that mean? That means that we should be getting ready to hit sunset. When sunset hits, it's over. It's game over, right? No more work, no more pleasure, no more anything. You are going to be in your Creator's timeline. You're going to be on His day, and we should be doing what He says we should be doing, which is resting, which is no servile work, which is preparing the meals the day before. We shouldn't be kindling fire, and we should be glorifying our Creator in all things, right? And we were never called to have churches. We were never ever called to have a 501c3 church that was worshiping on the wrong day. We were called to be in little ecclesias, little meeting places, and called to keep the Torah. And if there's only one of you, and one of you is very lonely because there's nobody else around, you know what? It is a lonely path out there, my friends. It is a very lonely path. But if you start keeping the Sabbath and you start keeping it by yourself with your Creator, and that means from sunset to sunset, you do no work. You sit there, you read your Bibles, you get into the Word. If you find an ecclesia that you can that are Torah-keeping people, then that's fine. But if you go to a church and then afterwards you go and you pay for food or you do something or you make somebody else work, that's evil. That is what our Creator says we should not be doing. And so we are to keep the Sabbath day holy. Guys, into our lesson for today. I hope you guys are doing well. I was trying to find a theme for this, and I was thinking of powerful men in history. And we all know lots of the stories about the powerful men in history. We know there's a lot of evil people, right? We know that they're the Caesars and the leaders and the kings and the powerful people of the world, right? We even have our Messiah in there on a cross, which is for Tammuz. It was more of a stake. It was a tree, right? It was a tree. So you have actors in here, and you have actresses, you have strong men, and you have world leaders, right? Somebody has the Baphomet in there, right? History's most powerful sorcerers and their spells. Very evil stuff right there, guys. Very evil. So when we're talking about powerful men, we're talking about there is kings that have had a tremendous amount of power, and it is by their word they go out and people conquer, right? They will completely wipe out villages. They'll completely wipe out nations. They will completely do what their king says to do. And the kings are pretty much extremely powerful. They're extremely powerful. There's Putin. He's a king. Right, he's a king of Russia, and not a king, but president, same thing, right? The leader of the power, right? And we're talking about a world that is full of weapons, that is full of great violence, that is full of the most sophisticated military equipment ever. When we're looking at the U.S. military, we're looking in general, who provides most of the military equipment across the world. It's a very violent stuff. Lockheed Martin has extremely violent weaponry. And these are all the things that make men strong. They're able to dominate. They're able to make their will fulfilled, and they're able to do whatever it is they want to do. But there is a power that is coming that you can't even, these people, the greatest of all time, the greatest military might ever, the strongest men in the entire world are never, ever going to be able to touch the power that is coming. And so when we are sitting here choosing this day who we will serve, who will we serve? Because if we are serving man, we are scared of these things. And when people are looking at the U.S. military and the weaponry and just the great evil that men can do, there is a time and there is a place when all of this military grade weaponry, when all of this is going to be technically and physically aimed at our Messiah. Our Messiah is going to take a lead, and the entire military of the world, the weapons of the world, are going to be aimed at our Messiah. And they're going to try to kill him. And if you can think of the entire world's military and the evilest weaponry that you can even possibly think of aimed at our Messiah, right? So our Messiah came the first time, and he came for peace, and he came to teach us the ways. He came to walk the Torah perfectly. He came to be the ultimate Levitical priest for us, a Melchizedek priest, and the sacrifice. That is what our Messiah did. Now, when he comes back at the end of the age, where we are at the end of the age, because if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see that the entire evil Hasatan world is looming against us and forcing us to do things that we don't want to do. So for those who can still see and those who are awake, those are ones of you who have stayed pure, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we are going to have a time in the near future where all of this is going to come against our Messiah. Let's take it. I can't get out of Ezra, so let's go. Ezra, fourth book of Ezra 13. And it came to pass after 7 days. And now this is Ezra. He's been out for, I don't know, like 25 days now or something of the sort. He's in the middle of a field. He stopped not fasting, and he's eating dandelions and meat of the field, which is vegetables, is what he was calling it. So he's eating no meat, but he's eating vegetables and things of that nature. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that a man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth falls when it feels the fire. What is this? What are we talking about, folks? And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number. Out of number. You couldn't number this. From the four winds of the heaven, for the four corners, from everywhere across, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Guys, what are we talking about here? But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would not have seen the region or place without the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet dared fight. Guys, this is the soldiers of the world that their military commanders have said, go fight the Messiah. Guys, can you see this world that come? It's coming. This is truly coming, that the forces of evil basically dominate us. We are going to be dominated. And when you hear my dogs growl, I am so sorry. There's absolutely nothing I can do when you have 10 pit bulls. So imagine this. And lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, I'm on verse 9, his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Guys, he's about to take on the armies of the world without a weapon, without anything, right? He didn't lift his hand up. He didn't lift his sword up. Now, when you're talking power, and you're talking about all the power of the earth that has subdued the earth to this point, we don't have anybody that could open his mouth and bring fire down, right? And so when you by default choose Hasatan because you do not keep the law, statutes, and commands of our Father, and you do not keep the faith in the Messiah, you are default on the loser's side. Hasatan is the loser. He will be the loser. He does not have power like this. He cannot burn through tanks and through army and armors and armories. And I'm sorry, I can't get my words stuck here. He cannot burn through all that metal. This is what Hasatan is. He's a faker. He's a secondhand faker. All he can do is manipulate and destruct and change things. He cannot create, right? And so if you're on the wrong side of the battle, you're going against a creation of the only son of our Creator, the only begotten Son. You are going against him, and the power he wields is spooky. It's spooky. It's something that we are all going to be shocked with. We're all going to be in awe. And the days of our Messiah showing peace, love, and all of this, he's coming back to whip these people. He's coming back to open up a can of whoop on all of these guys, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Verse 10. But only I saw he that sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, right? Sounds like a dragon, but this is the Son of Man. And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight and burn them up, everyone. So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. This was like a giant barbecue, massive barbecue, a fire so hot that it consumes everything. He didn't say there's like weapons or anything left. He says it's gone. Everything is gone. That is the all-consuming power of a fire from the Son of the Most High. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. Who is this multitude? Folks, this is the people that are keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. These are the people that have called upon the name of our Messiah. It's a two-edged sword. We must complete that sharpening process. We must be keeping these laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator, because if not, we're crucifying our Messiah over and over and over by our unwillingness to get holy. Verse 13, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then I was sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, and he goes into this, I'm going to take you into the actual interpretation. So this is only a dream, right? This is a dream. This is what Ezra had been waiting for. He was waiting for some signs from our Creator. What's going on? And he didn't do this just once, twice. He's doing this a whole bunch of times. And why is this guy selected? Why is this guy the guy that is doing what he is doing? Because he was sitting there praying and crying for his people, because there was all the people are gone. Yisrael is gone. The Jerusalem is gone. It's all gone into captivity. There's nobody left calling upon the name of our Creator, right? And so he is broken and he is humbled and he is sitting there and he's trying to bring back restoration to the kingdom. Same thing we're trying to do right here. Same thing I'm doing, right? I'm not just talking to some people out there. I'm talking to you, and I hope that you are a kingdom maker. I hope that you guys are riding with me next to our Messiah as we're battling it out with these forces of evil, right? The forces of evil are losers. They're going to lose in the end. They will get most of us, but it doesn't matter, right? What is an ounce of flesh for when we can have the creation? What is the ounce of flesh when we can have the kingdom forever and ever and ever? Guys, we are not being called to be scared. We are not called to be anything, but we need to be courageous. We need to be ready, and we need to be ready to lay down our life in an instant for our King and for our Creator, right? Do unto him as he has done unto us, right? Let's go in and let's take a look at this. This is when he says, this is an interpretation of that dream above. Behold, the days come when El Elyon will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. Guys, these are messages for us in these end times, right? These books were meant for us in these end times, to us to have an interpretation, to have some guidance, to be able to figure this out. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight another against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed you before. And then shall my Son be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built like as you saw the hill graven without hands. Guys, this is where we will be. Wherever this is, whenever this is, it may be in our lifetime, it may not be in our lifetime. But if it is not in our lifetime, we will be back for this. If you keep the law, statutes, and commands of our Creator, and if you are having the faith in our Messiah, that he came and died and was resurrected for you on the third day. By his stripes we are healed, folks. By his stripes we are healed. Verse 36, and Zion shall come, I'm rereading it, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built. Guys, who's in construction? Are you keeping law, statutes, and commands? Are you a construction guy? I see a job for you in the future. Are you a warrior? Are you ready to battle next to our Messiah? I see a job for you. There are jobs all over in this kingdom to come, and it is not. We're not going to be playing violins and harps and things of that nature, guys. This is important, and this is why I get real excited about this stuff, because we are in this generation right here, and many are called, few are chosen, and I hope and I pray that you guys are the few. And this is my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the Torah, which is like unto me. And whereas you saw that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Yahushua the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Ashur, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. My friends, my family, my brothers and sisters, guys, this is you. This is us. We are all in another land, in another time, exactly as these books say we are. Right? And these are the times that when we start seeking our Creator and start seeking His Torah, that we will seek our Father and He will call back to us. He will save us. He will save us no matter where we are at. Guys, the hammer of the world is coming down upon us, and there's nobody who is powerful enough to save us. But yet our Messiah comes, and without speaking a word, and He doesn't even do anything. He barely speaks it, and He destroys them. That's the kind of power that we are backing. That is the kind of leadership that we have. We have a world that has already, our Creator knows all this. He knows what's going to happen because He knows the souls of men. He knows the hearts of men. And the thing about the Bible says the hearts of men is very black. It's very dark. We are all able and capable to do very evil things. And that is why we must have the Torah. That is why we must call upon the name of the Messiah to cleanse us from the sins of the world prior to the keeping of the Torah. And then when you start keeping the Torah, plead the blood when you break it. Don't live a Torah-less life. It is a life of despair. It is a life of hopelessness. It is a life of no redemption and no meaning. If you do not know the Torah, you do not know the meaning of this life, and this life is going to pass away, and you will be somewhere else. And there's so many people that come and say, oh, well, if God wanted me, He would come and talk to me directly. Or if He wanted me to keep His commands, He would talk to me directly. And that's crazy talk. That is crazy talk. You're expecting your Creator who is created. We are just created entities. We are created entities, created perfectly. Our Creator owes us nothing. He has given us everything. He gave us a Messiah. He gave us a rule book. He gave us a way to the kingdom. And He didn't forsake us. We know what the world is coming. We know we're all going to have to get snapped by little ants. Right? The world is going to bear down upon us. Most of us will not make it, but we will make it when we have the Torah in our hearts, lives, and souls. Even if we are killed, crucified, owned, heads chopped off, whatever happens to us in the future, as long as we are keeping our eyes upon the kingdom and we are seeking our Creator first, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. That means your righteousness. His righteousness is the Torah. When you're seeking the kingdom, you're seeking His righteousness, all these things shall be added unto you. They'll be added unto you, guys. We must keep the Torah. We must love our Creator. We must do what He requests us to do because there's no other way. We're all about to get annihilated with the current situation of what's going on there. And again, that's for those with eyes to see, ears to hear. Much love to y'all. If I didn't love y'all, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this day after day. Much love.